So what's going on? Hopefully you're stopping by. Probably after the fact. This is not scheduled. This is not planned. We're just jumping on, trying to get back into the flow, doing some things on this channel. Part of what we're here to do is help people learn to get into lock sport, help people learn to pick locks and different things that you do in lock sport. And then we're here to supply and support our vets and kind of show how engaging in a hobby is good for people's mental health and their well-being and things like that. So I wanted to jump back to doing a little bit of beginning picking, talking a little beginning picking again, our back to basics little series I'm doing. And I want to talk about laminated padlocks. So when you get into lock picking, you're gonna hopefully get yourself a couple picks, and you don't destroy those right away. Maybe you get a few more, but you're gonna start getting locks, and there are some cheap locks out there that are good to learn how to pick on, and different things that you'll just kind of find and pick up. But what you will find that's hugely available everywhere you go, Dollar General, Home Depot, you're going to ask all your friends, you're going to search around your house, you're going to look for extra unused locks, things like that. And you're going to end up with a lot of laminated padlocks. And it's a good way to go. So I encourage you to get a hold of every one of these you can, even if it's just a $5 one at Dollar General, something cheap down at your other hardware store, anything in a garage. And so people sometimes have to cut them, but a cut one still technically works. We're not using these as locks. We're using them to learn to pick locks, so you can still pick something like this. And then because one of our sponsors, Multi-Pick, hooked us up with some stuff, some sets that we're sending around some of our vets, and some stuff for me to play with. They also sent me some of their new magnetic handles. So I'm trying those out on a low round and a low flat from their pick sets, and just do a little picking. So you never really know what you're going to get with all these. There's just so many brands and names and sizes, and you can find a lot of spool pins in these, which is nice. So you can easily, should be a pretty easy pick. I'm not used to trying to go back to using low hooks. I never really was a low round. I'm more of a flat guy, but I've gotten into using mediums, so I'm trying to also kind of re-practice as I'm doing relearning the beginnings. So I'll switch over to my flat and see if that helps me. And I found it's just nice to have a good pile of locks, just especially in the beginning. Build that pile, get all of these, and then if one of them's frustrating you, go ahead and put it down, pick up another one, and give it a shot. So this one's a Chateau. It's a little tighter keyway, which for me was a little harder earlier on. Once I was able to navigate the keyway, it's just a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just move down the pins and get to it. But trying to navigate that. So this was a good lock for me to have when I was learning. Like I said, look at this big old, what is this, 50, 60 millimeter Brinks. Use a thicker turner. Got some spool pins in here. So when I first got this, it was a little difficult for me. Trying to figure out what that meant. But you gotta set to be able to set the other stuff. Sorry, I'm not talk while I'm actually picking guy. Nothing on one. I do not have a law degree. And again, part of my problem right now, I'm used to having a little more depth on my hook. I've been using a medium hook so much. I'm just not getting quite the feel. Pushing my pin down. Wow. Ow. That is hurting my wrist. Like I said, don't let something frustrate you, especially when you have a pile. Just try another lock. And then you have these kind of things. You'll see them with the rubber coating. Usually, that's going to be like a laminated lock underneath there. It'll be a little uglier since they're covering it with the rubber. They don't put as much time into making it pretty. So let's see if I can get an easy one here. If anyone's hanging out, jump in the chat, ask a question, say hey. And that is something too when you have these cases and stuff like so. Notice when I put my turner in here, I'm right there. So it's pretty much right down there flush on that. But I got like all that depth to get in there. So there's times where I'm barely getting that in there. And what I tend to do is angle that a little bit and then make sure when I'm pushing this up a little bit as I'm pushing it that way to try to keep it from falling out. And this is where it's nice to have a lot of different turners because some will be a little longer on that part, whether they're designed to do this or you flip them around and use the longer end. I'm just not picking anything right now. And that's why this is good. This is practice. This is learning. All right, let me see if it's just me using the hook badly. Go in there with more of a... Yep, just wasn't pushing something down enough. And that's why I'm practicing. So I'll try another one of these. Hold on, I got a scam likely call coming in. If you are hanging out, I would appreciate if you hit that like button. Help the channel out. Help give us some love on the algorithm. Oh, I'm supposed to be using these pixels. I can tell you, I am liking the handles. Use them all week and then do a little full review, but I'm digging them so far. Oh, hey, got that going. Well, hey, how you doing there, Cuber 34? Am I saying that right? Cameron, how you doing? A good set, you can get $30, man. Southern Specialties, lockpicktools.com. Get their, I suggest their tool set, TOOL. You get like a leather case, and then you'll get picks and a set of tension tools. If you use the code PICKME, you can get 10% off anything you're buying. So they happen to be one of our product sponsors. They just hook us up. I don't get anything back for, and they're awesome. And it's run by vets. Guy who owns it, guy who works for him and runs everything on one side that I deal with. Jeff and Aaron, both great guys. Very supportive of our vets, so we like to give them love whenever we can. You can also Jimmy Longs, jimmylongs.com. You got some good starter sets for 10, 15 something bucks if you just want to start with a couple picks. If you're over in the UK, I would check out Multi-Pick. Those are our guys. They have some quality stuff and a lot of options. And then I believe there's also like Law Lock Tools over there. Down Australia way, you would check out Bare Bones. Yeah, test my theory of hook depth being the problem. Blast and bypass, how you doing there, my brother? Yeah, and I'd say pretty much, you know, you can get in there for 10, 15 bucks just to get a couple picks, and it's worth starting. Yeah. Well, you know what sucks is I haven't gotten into automotive locks yet. That is kind of something I want to start getting into, but there's so many different areas of locks. You've got dimple, disc detainer, pin tumbler, lever lock, and then there's other categories, subcategories, and different belts, and it gets crazy. Yeah, covert instruments. You can get their FNG where you just get one hook and a rake, and I mean you get the clear padlock, but that stops being useful pretty quick. Or you can go the Genesis set for like 25 or 30 bucks. That's another good one. If that's who you're shopping with. I can't tell you what you could get from Sparrows. It's another company you could check out. Again, I'll tell you what I like and who is good to us, but I also want you to check out, make your own decisions. Talk to other pickers. You got Yin Yet, Blast and Bypass, both good guys, both good pickers. They can tell you kind of what they've done or what they've figured out. And the other part of it is you do find that, especially if you get into it as a hobby, you at least want to try a couple different people's stuff. So, and then you also find each company kind of will have some of their own stuff that only they kind of have or they have more of. So, if I want to do a key, like melted key replicant thing, well, the only one that's got that's Covert that I know of. If I want to have like a huge amount of locksmith tools that I can get into and stuff, I'm gonna have to go to multi-pick. Just knowing what they all have kind of helps when you're surfing around all this stuff. Yeah, and I don't have it, but I will say the cutaway trainer from Sparrows is it's a decent price. It's easy to gut and pin, and you can order their pinning kit thingy and get a bunch of different kinds of pins and stuff like that, a couple different keys that fit it. And so I mean Sparrows is definitely everybody's got something that is kind of worth getting for me. And then this is it's definitely hobby. It kind of turned into slightly entrepreneurial possibility because I'm getting to the point where I can help people with lockouts and do light locksmithing stuff. So, and I don't have to be licensed to do some locksmith work. I used to work as a subcontractor and handymaning and stuff like that, so I can probably get some work that way out of it. I usually turn my hobbies into cash, and then managed to kind of start my YouTube channel, which is C Studios, and my Instagram are doing pretty good. Not really making any money, but they're doing good. But they're allowing me to do this and get a lot of support for our vets here at Mitten Made. Oh, nice. Cheese and grits. You know what? I don't think I saw. I've run into cheese and grits. I don't think I actually subbed cheese and grits up yet. I gotta do that. I'm behind on a few. So back to this now. Like I said, I couldn't. This is weird for me too because I couldn't use a medium hook when I started, and like I said, I couldn't use a round hook for crap at all. All I could use was that low flat, and I had to take that as far as I could go. And then once I started trying other, ooh, I had it. I dropped the pop. See that ridge right there? Held that up enough. As soon as I started moving it, and it got a little bit of loose, I didn't have it held in there right, so it dropped. So let's punish this thing real quick. Oh, it was still loose. I could have opened it. So we will punish it real fast. There we go. Open that up. I pick Euro style. It's fancy. I know, isn't it so weird? I can't pick up for crap. I go through bouts where I try to practice that. Oh, that is something to point out since I'm talking about. Good. Thanks for pointing that out. So you see me. Okay, this is called top of the keyway, and that's top of the keyway because here we think about doing it that way. Or I don't have the right key, but I don't have any key. There we go. So you think about doing it like that. Top pins up. I pick like this, which is how they do it in Europe, Euro style. It was just always easier for me to get my motion, like, going down because I don't pick off the wording. So some people like rest the pick here or on a ledge, and then they use that to leverage. I can't do that either. If I could, well, I can do it a little bit when I have to, but if I could get better at that, I'd be a better picker. Yeah, I've got, it's something I was hoping to try kind of do more of it this year, but this year's been an absolute F show. Trying to like plan or get things done or make things happen in life. Things going wrong and having to catch up and yada yada yada. So here, this big old lock. Oh, that's got to be hugely secure, right? And that's something you got to remember when you're picking is this part's just the body. It can matter a little bit, depending on the spring and everything I got in there, but that little core in there is really not a different size than that core generally. So big locks shouldn't be intimidating. Although some big locks should be intimidating. This is nice multi-lock, pin in pin. Does not have the interactive. I am nowhere near talented enough to pick this thing. But goddamn, it's a gorgeous lock. Door from inside. Grab the keys. We're probably working on cars. Let's do it here. Oh yeah. The open. I can. Well, I had a misspent youth. I did all the things you shouldn't do, and I didn't pick locks back then. So all the ways around not picking, yeah, I know those. Like, so getting into a car, I can help with, but I want to be able to pick the lock. That's the important part to me. This thing's only got 4 pins. Somehow one of them's eluding me. Probably the one right behind the turner. Yeah. Yeah, I did same thing though with like trying to there's always, that's the other nice thing is like, so I can try to do it. So I like top of the keyway, but that gets awkward. So it's like I can try, so I end up kind of going sideways, but yeah, this easy ass lock. It's gonna frustrate me. And then the other thing, at the beginning, like most people tend to go bottom of the QA tension anyway. And I absolutely could not. It just took up too much room. I couldn't make it work. So I started off top of the QA right off the bat. Oh, hey, a click. Just suck it this way. Especially I haven't been doing it at all recently. But I gotta go through bouts where I practice picking up. I practice bottom of the QA tension. I will practice picking left-handed. Usually if I'm home, oh, there we go. This is about the time of the day I'll sit down, start picking, pick up all these. Why not go top of the K? Yeah, I suck at bottom of the K. I don't know. I get, it's weird. I gotta, and I also, if you've noticed, like, no matter what I'm doing, I'm gonna tension it weird. So, like, if I do a kick, this is how I tension my kicks. Instead of trying to do some weird, it just doesn't feel comfortable. So, although I'll tell you, with these awesome turners, a lot better trying to do it that way weird, but now I can't even do it right. I screwed it up. There we go. Okay. I'm also used to I've gotten really used to like that 20 thousandths range. So when I go back to like more of a 25 thousandths, it just feels like it's just getting stuck. Oh yeah, kick cylinder. I have a vise. I just suck at using it. And again, it's something I'll just sit down and go, okay, I'm gonna work on the vise, for a few days. Usually when I'm trying to get into my Medico or my Goal S or challenge locks and stuff like that, when I'm trying to upgrade my ability, it's top end. I try to do it in vise. Huh. Don't know why. Oh, there we go. Oh, handcuff? Yeah. Yeah, I generally don't think about devolving into handcuffs on this channel, but I might as well do at least one. You want to see a lot of handcuff escapes? Head on over to see Steve do Saturday nights. All right, let's take another shot at this guy. See, awkward angle. Give myself. False set at least. There we go. There we go. Take another shot at this guy. Go with the unconventional. And then that's why this stuff is beneficial. When you start adding handcuffs, it's good to be able to find a much better. Most important thing is getting a good angle to work your pick. So if you can do weird tensioner angles, you're going to be able to open some good locks. Yes, I also do juggle. Play a little bit of guitar. There's some guitarists around here that are a lot better than me. All right. Oh, you know what? I'm also working on the Telu, a little high, low, high, low, high, 5-peak bow guitar variation out of the Lock Noob set. Let's see if we can make that work a little bit while handcuffed. All right. That's thick. Do, 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 do. Alrighty. Well, that one was successful. Master Lock 5. Well now. A couple poppity pops. Some McNizzles, if you will. Ooh, it's a little sticky in there. Get that a little bit better. This doesn't fit. Just doesn't fit. All right, let's try this one. Double lock on cuffs. Does it make picking harder? How does it affect shimming, if anything? Well, no, it doesn't. Like if you're not, the only thing that double lock's going to affect, for the most part, unless it's some weird pair of cuffs I don't know about, is when the locking. It's not going to mess up what you're doing here. It doesn't change your what's the goddamn word? Mobility. But you cannot shim with a double lock. So I'll show you what shimming is first. Shimming is, all right, speed key out of the way. Nice little speed key, magnetic. All right, so shimming is when you get in between those teeth. And when you get in between those teeth, it's going to push that down, just like, well, a lot like the key does. So the key would push it in that front part, push it down, and it allows this to pass freely. This just kind of sticks something between the teeth so they don't catch while pushing this down to kind of help out with that. And it allows you to get out like that. In process, looks like this. I'm going to get it in place. And then if you got a thin enough shim, it'll slip in there without having to depress the bow. If you're double locked, you can't get in there. And it wouldn't matter if you do, because the double lock means that the pawl's locked into position, so you can't push the pawl down at all. So you got to pick that first. Let's see if I have a pick. That'll work. I'm going to try it with a busted up bobby pin. Now I'll have to find a pick that works a little bit better. There we go. So now that is free, get in there and get out of that. That is the Telu, Teylu. It's one of the ones in the the Lock Noob 10-piece set. It comes with 5. So you got the Druium, Abona, what's this one called? And the Moneth. And they're all with that high-low. They kind of alternate. So the 2 and 4 are low up front, and the 3 and 5 are low on 2nd and 4. So it's a good set. I like the lock noob sets. Yeah. Yes, their police use those handcuffs. These are Peerless 700C. Very similar to a 750C or an 801C. 801C, you can see a lot with the hinge. It's the same mechanism, it's just hinged. So getting in and out of those are about the same. All right, guys. Well, thank you for stopping by. Like I said, this is mostly just to get in here and talk about some beginning picking, do a little practice, get back to working with some low flat hooks, since I'm working on all of my early locks and kind of never got to use that well at all. So, and working on seeing how I feel about these handles, which they are really nice in that they're easy to pull apart, change it out, pop it back into place. A little magnetic, keeps it there. Nice little grip. I don't know, it might be too thick or not thick enough for some people or something, maybe. But so far, I'm digging them. All right, you guys, take care. I'll talk to you next time. Thank you for stopping by.